10 signs you're caught in the fake rich trap. The fake rich scam. How Gucci and Mercedes get rich from your debt, you have seen them. The person pulling up in the BMW with $47 in their account. Your coworker with the designer bag that costs more than her entire savings. The guy at the bar describing his investment portfolio, carrying more credit card debt than actual investments. Here is the number you need to sit with. Americans owe $1.28 trillion in credit card debt, and luxury sales keep climbing. This is not just about other people. This is about a system, the facade economy, a trap that is quietly pulling money away from millions of people who want to build real wealth. And the terrifying part? Most of them do not even realize they are inside it. The habits that keep people broke have become so normalized, so widely celebrated, that recognizing them feels almost uncomfortable. But once you see the 10 signs, once you understand how the facade economy actually works, you will be able to protect yourself from it, in your own decisions, in your own money. By the end of this, you will never unsee any of it. And sign number 8 is the one most people get completely wrong. The first sign is the entry-level luxury trap, and it is far more common than you think. Buy the cheapest version of the most prestigious brand, base model BMW, logo Gucci belt, starter Louis Vuitton, the badge. Without the budget, here is the number that should stop you cold. A fully optioned Honda Accord costs roughly the same as an entry-level luxury sedan. Better features, better reliability, dramatically lower running costs. But the person in the trap is not buying a car. They are buying what they hope you will think about them when they drive past. That is the entire transaction. Perception, not transportation. And the damage compounds far past the sticker price. Premium fuel, inflated insurance, specialty parts that cost multiples of mainstream alternatives. Every month, for years, while nothing builds underneath. Here is the number that reveals the entire game. Someone performing wealth directs 20 to 30% of monthly income toward looking successful. Someone genuinely building wealth? 2 to 5%. Same categories. That gap, held over decades, is the difference between financial freedom and financial performance. Real wealth buys luxury after building the foundation. The fake rich buy the symbol first, and the wealth they are waiting for almost never comes. The entry-level luxury trap drains your wallet slowly. The second sign drains something else entirely. The second sign is the wealth broadcaster. You almost certainly know one. Every conversation loops back to income, deals, investments, always framed to make the speaker look formidable. You mention a trip, they pivot to their travel rewards strategy. You share a friend's success. Within 2 sentences, the spotlight is back on them. You might read this as confidence. It is the opposite. People who are genuinely at peace with their financial position feel no compulsion to announce it constantly. The reminders are not for you. They are filling an internal gap with external noise. The pattern that exposes it every single time, the wealth broadcaster, speaks almost exclusively in future tense. There is a deal closing next month. Once this investment matures, everything changes, always future. Because the present cannot support the image being projected. The money counts when it clears your account, not when it is promised, not when it is projected, when it actually arrives. But acknowledging that would collapse the entire performance. So the broadcasting continues. If the wealth broadcaster is about words, the third sign hits you in your actual bank account, and it is the most financially destructive pattern in the entire facade economy. The third sign is status bleeding. A $5,000 handbag, $2,000 in savings, a luxury watch on the wrist of someone with maxed out credit. Status bleeding is when your purchases consistently outpace the financial foundation beneath you. And it is bleeding you dry, slowly, consistently, invisibly. Here is the rule that exposes it immediately. When you cannot comfortably afford to buy something twice, you cannot actually afford it once. But here is what makes status bleeding truly dangerous. It is not one bad purchase. It is compounding. Every single dollar spent maintaining the image is a dollar that cannot grow. Someone financing a designer bag ends up paying 30% above sticker price on something now worth half its original value. They paid extra to carry around physical evidence of their own performance. That money could have been in an index fund, growing quietly. Instead, it is sitting in a handbag depreciating. People with real wealth make purchases that represent a fractional slice of their net worth, not a meaningful portion of monthly cash flow. That one ratio, purchase size relative to total assets, separates a genuine celebration from a financial wound. Status bleeding drains money quietly. The fourth sign does something different. It drains the energy in every room. The fourth sign, the compulsive one-upper. You get promoted. Theirs was bigger. You vacationed somewhere beautiful. They spent 2 weeks on the French Riviera. You bought a watch. They explain in detail why theirs has a superior mechanical movement. Picture this at a dinner table. Someone announces they just bought their first home. Before the congratulations can land, the one-upper is already talking. That's great, but you really should have held out for something larger. When I entered the market, I made sure it was at least 4 bedrooms. Energy drained. A real milestone turned into a teaching moment that nobody asked for. The psychology here is completely transparent once you see it. One-upping comes from insecurity, never from confidence. Someone who has genuinely built something can celebrate your win without feeling threatened by it. Their self-worth does not depend on outranking every person in the room. The fake rich experience your success as a threat, so they minimize yours, while amplifying their own, every time, without exception. Once you see it, you realize the fifth sign operates on the exact same psychology, just performed for a much larger audience. The fifth sign is the prosperity performance, social media as a live broadcast of manufactured wealth, the curated feed of luxury experiences, designer purchases, and lifestyle content engineered to project prosperity, regardless of whether it exists. Here is the uncomfortable truth about engagement that nobody says directly. A $1,000 mall haul video gets more views than $1,000 transferred to an emergency fund every time. The first looks exciting, the second is just reality. So the fake rich learn quickly. Projecting wealth generates attention whether or not the wealth is real, and they perform prosperity while building absolutely nothing. If the money were real, there would be no need to document every moment for strangers. But for the prosperity performer, wealth only registers as real once it collects external validation. Nobody films their Saturday at home because they chose to save. Nobody shares their budget review sessions. Social media is highlights only, but the prosperity performer needs you to accept those highlights as their daily existence. Genuine wealth tends toward privacy. Validation is unnecessary when the foundation is real. Now, you might be thinking, these first 5 signs are obvious, easy to spot in others, but wait for sign 8. That is the one most people are committing without realizing it. Stay with this. The 6th sign is perpetual lease cycling, and this is the one most people have completely normalized. When you lease a vehicle, you finance the most expensive years of its life, peak depreciation, then hand it back. A $50,000 car worth $30,000 after 3 years means you financed $20,000 of pure depreciation. Then you start over, new lease, new fees, new depreciation cycle, zero equity. Ever. Someone doing this for 20 years makes hundreds of thousands in payments, possesses nothing at the end, nothing. Leasing is among the most expensive ways to access a vehicle across a lifetime, but it makes an otherwise unaffordable monthly payment feel manageable, and that is the entire mechanism. The driver looks successful. What is invisible? Zero equity, premium insurance obligations, and a payment that simply never ends. The 7th sign is counterfeit credibility. You might think this is just a personal style choice, something harmless. It is not. Here is what it actually communicates to the exact people you are trying to impress, carrying fake designer goods as a signal of status that was never earned. Anyone who knows luxury spots a counterfeit from across a room. The stitching, the hardware, the logo placement. Everything communicates imitation to the exact people you are trying to impress. The irony, a decent knockoff costs $200 to $300. That same money buys a genuinely well-crafted piece from an independent brand. Real materials, original design, quality construction, everything except the famous logo. But the logo is the only thing that matters. So they pay for a poorly made fake instead of a well-made original. They have paid to carry around evidence of their own performance. This is the sign most people do not see coming. The eighth sign is the perpetual next big thing. Forex trading, drop shipping, crypto day trading, options strategies, multi-level marketing, an endless rotation of schemes that are always about to change everything. The fake rich gravitate toward these because they exist entirely in future tense, not what they have built, what they are on the verge of building. The pattern never changes. Full commitment, constant recruitment, 6 months of losses that never get mentioned, then an immediate pivot to the next vehicle, equal confidence, equal volume, a trail of abandoned ventures they never revisit. Here is what makes this sign different from the others. The people committing it genuinely believe the next one will work. This is not cynical deception, it is self-deception. And self-deception is the most expensive kind. Real wealth builds slowly, without drama, over years or decades, but slow and undramatic, has no place in the facade economy. So the search continues, forever. The ninth sign is financial condescension, and you have felt it. You mention you are happy with your apartment. They tell you someone at your income level should have upgraded by now. You drive a reliable used car. They question why you have not financed something newer. You are saving aggressively. They redirect you toward whatever they are currently invested in, unsolicited, every time, and always pointing toward whatever choices they personally made. What is actually happening beneath this? They need to justify their own decisions. When your different approach produces results, it threatens their story. Criticizing your path is how they protect their own narrative. It is not advice, it is armor. Someone with genuine wealth can acknowledge that multiple approaches work without feeling threatened by any of them. The fake rich need everyone around them to confirm they did things correctly, because deep down they are not sure they did. The 10th sign is the volume problem. Too many logos at once. Too much jewelry. A walking catalogue of luxury brands rather than a person who happens to own quality things. Every single element screams money, nothing whispers it. Here is what should make you pause. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same grey t-shirt. Warren Buffett drives a modest car and has lived in the same house for decades. The most financially powerful people on earth pass completely unnoticed on a sidewalk. They have nothing to prove. Their identity does not depend on what strangers think of their appearance. They could buy anything, which is exactly why they feel no pressure to buy everything. The fake rich believe they have everything to prove, so every item becomes a statement. Every accessory becomes evidence, and the louder the display, the more apparent the desperation. The effort is always the tell. Real wealth needs no performance. Here is what you now know. The facade economy runs on a treadmill that accelerates the longer you stay on it. More money flows toward maintaining an image. Nothing flows toward building actual substance. The person performing wealth frequently ends up worse off than where they started, having spent years constructing the appearance of success rather than the reality of it. The gap at the deepest level is this. The fake rich filter every financial decision through one question: will this make me look successful? The genuinely wealthy filter through a completely different question: does this actually move me toward financial freedom? One approach builds, the other bleeds. You have seen all 10 patterns now: the entry-level luxury trap, status bleeding, the prosperity performance, perpetual lease cycling, the perpetual next big thing, the volume problem. You understand the facade economy, you can see it clearly. Now do the harder thing, audit yourself. Are your financial decisions genuinely serving your future, or are you maintaining an image that is quietly costing you the wealth you are trying to project? Are you building, or are you bleeding? Real wealth does not require an audience. It does not need to be documented, announced, or validated. It exists whether or not anyone else sees it. The goal is not to appear wealthy. The goal is to become wealthy. One path is expensive, exhausting, and terminates exactly where it began. The other compounds quietly until the day you realize you possess options most people can only pretend to have. Every month, the facade economy takes its cut, quietly, from people who genuinely believe they are building towards something. They are not. The question is not which path is better. You already know which one is better. The question is which one you are actually on. This channel is called Maya Wealth. Every video here is built around one goal, helping you understand money the way the genuinely wealthy actually think about it, not the way the facade economy wants you to. No performance, no shortcuts, just the patterns, the numbers, and the decisions that actually build something real. If that is what you are looking for, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next one. New videos drop every week. The next one might be the one that changes how you see everything.